I applied for hospital privileges, and finally I did get hospital privileges. And getting hospital privileges, you know, they tried to make me fit into their mold. Oh, well, when I first started, when I went to set up my business, the state told me that I couldn't incorporate because a nurse or a nurse midwife never incorporated before. So I just got an attorney and I filed suit against the state, and voila, we were able to incorporate. You know, midwives were now able to incorporate. So I was the first nurse and nurse midwife in New Jersey to incorporate her practice, because I've always been an independent practitioner. I never wanted to be owned by anybody else because I needed to set my own standards and fork my own road, you know, travel my own road. When we became a pilot and demonstration project for the state health department, up until that time, insurance was not paying for the births. So people that used a midwife were, they had to pay out of pocket. So we filed suit against, I filed suit against Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New York and New Jersey for third-party reimbursement. And we won. And they began to reimburse me. And once Blue Cross started reimbursing, then all of the other commercial insurance companies began reimbursing the midwife. So I was the first midwife in the state of New Jersey to get third-party reimbursement. And that was back in the day. That was in the 80s. That was in 79, 80 is when I first started getting third-party reimbursement. Some of the highlights, I think there were so many highlights. There were so many beautiful births and beautiful stories and sad stories, but mostly beautiful stories. And there were a lot of hospital journeys because I applied to hospitals, and you know, initially we couldn't get privileges, and then by the grace of the collaborative physicians really working on it, we got I got privileges at the hospital. And I started out in the first hospital that I was at, and I remember doing, I had a backup at that time who, we did a twin delivery together, and I delivered the first baby, and he immediately put his hand inside and pulled the second baby out by its feet. And I asked him, I was young then, and I remember asking him, could we have waited a little bit to see if that baby would just come down? And he went nuts. You question me? I'm a board-certified obstetrician. That's the way you do it. How dare you question me? And I was like, I wasn't questioning you. I was asking a question. You know, I don't know. I've never been at a twin birth before. And I did not remain at that hospital much longer because he decided not to back me because I wasn't respectful enough. I asked a question. So I then went to work at another hospital. Inglewood Hospital. Yes, that was a journey. That was in the early 80s, and I did the unthinkable. I let a patient eat a banana in labor. So I was brought up before the quality committee, and I brought all these articles on how people could eat. And they quoted 1946 studies where women aspirated because they had general anesthesia. But these women weren't having general anesthesia. They were having a baby. But they did suspend me for letting a woman eat a banana during labor. They did put me back on staff. They made me have my collaborative physician supervise 20 more deliveries to make sure I'd be a good girl. And I got my privileges back, but you know what? I didn't want to remain in that. So I went to another hospital. But I always had the birth center, so it was the hospital-based practice was only for women who either needed the hospital or desired the hospital. You know, we didn't force people to have babies out of hospital, although it was much more beautiful and much nicer in the birth center. The birth center was fabulous. I had my own baby, my second baby in the birth center, and that's what I built it for. So I went to this third hospital. Third hospital, yes. I thought that the third hospital, being a Christian organization, would have some heart and understand that birth was a God-given function, that this is a privilege that women are given, but it's been going on for a very long time. And women can birth. Women can birth their babies. That's what they were made for. They fulfill their ultimate destiny in life by giving birth to a baby. That's your destiny. That's what I say to my patients all the time. This is your destiny, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fix it. I don't have to change it. Unless there's a problem, the best thing I can do is sit there and knit and allow you to have your baby. And if you need me to rub your back, I'll rub your back. But have your baby. Go in the shower. Go in the tub. Walk around. Do whatever feels right, because your body is going to tell you what feels right. If you want to dance, if you want to move, if you want to walk, you want to run, or you want to go in the shower and turn on the water and scream your brains out. It's all okay. It's right, because it feels right. Well, they didn't like that too much. They didn't like women getting into the shower and not being strapped down to that fetal monitor and walking around. That was just not good. And ultimately, the backup that I had then just kind of raised the fee that I was paying. I was paying him $2,000 a month for the ability to practice my given profession. And I have to say, I don't pay my collaborative physician anything anymore. You know, we work collaboratively together. But in those years, I was paying him $2,000 a month for him to be able to bill my patients for cesarean sections and to be there, be available for a problem. I was paying him. So he raised my fee to $4,000 a month. I was being punished because I wasn't a good enough girl. You know, I didn't put them all on the monitor and, you know, pay them, you know, just do it the way they wanted me to do it. So I journeyed. I kind of stayed there and for a while, but then I left. And, you know, I always had the birth center, so that it didn't matter, you know. I could stay out as much as possible by not, you know, saying to women, well, if you don't want to be at the birth center, you know, maybe you should stay with this practice, or maybe this is not, you know, because we like the birth center better. And basically, a lot of the women were then convinced that they wanted to have the baby at the birth center. We did a lot of births in the birth center. It was beautiful. We had king-size beds, and the families, after the baby was born, would all get into the bed, and they had the baby in the bed, and it was a family bed. It was great, you know. It was beautiful. It was always really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful births.